Hello my friends, and welcome back to another quilt along. Today we're doing block number 12, Faithful Block, designed by Camille Ross-Kelly. And this Sewcialite Quilt along you can get at fatquartershop.com, and I will have the link in the description below if you want to join me in this awesome quilt along. So much fun. I'm trying to use up all my stash that I have. I'm doing the 6-inch block. I've cut out my background and my printed fabric. For the background, I needed 4 1.5 by 2.5 rectangles and 8 1.5 inch squares, and also 8 1.5 inch squares. And I've actually used a printed and a solid in the white background. And for the printed fabric, you'll need 1 2.5 inch square, 4 1.5 by 2.5 rectangle, and 8 1.5 inch squares, and another 8 1.5 inch squares. And I'm thinking this is different because if you wanted to use 2 different colors of fabric, it would be really scrappy. I just went with the one color, so I still have 2 piles, but you can combine them together, it doesn't matter. All right, so let's get started. So the first step is making a 4 patch. I'll get these out of the way. And you're gonna need background color and a printed fabric. 2 of each. You'll need B and F, so I'm taking B and F. I guess help if I actually put it like that. And this is a 4 patch. There we go. And we are just gonna put right sides together and sew a 1/4 inch seam like that. And once you're done that, you should get this. This is 1 background and 1 printed fabric, and I've sewn them, and I have a 1/4 inch seam. And then once you're done this, you're going to iron open your seams if you want, and then I pin the sections, the intersections together to try and keep it as best I can, and then sew another 1/4 inch seam, and you will get your 4 patch. And you're gonna need 4 of these. The next step is doing the flying geese. You'll need 1 fabric A, 1.5 by 2.5 inch rectangle, and you'll need 2 of your printed fabric G. And what you're gonna do is you are going to draw a line diagonally down the center like that, and then you're gonna put the square there, and you're gonna sew along that line, and you should get this. And then once you're done that, you're gonna take another piece of printed fabric G and put it in the other corner, and you're gonna sew along that line. And don't forget to cut 1/4 inch seam. This little ruler comes in so handy because once I sew, I just put the middle line on the sew line and then cut, and then that gives me my 1/4 inch seam, and you'll have a flying geese like this. All right, so you'll need to do 4 of these as well, and then you're gonna take your printed fabric, your 1.5 by 2.5 inch. Then what you're gonna do is take your background color, and you've drawn a diagonal line on your background fabric, and this is 1.5 inch square, and you're gonna sew along that line, cut a 1/4 inch, and then you should get this. Then you take another 1.5 inch square and put it along here, and then sew a diagonal line, corner to corner, there. And once you're done that, you'll get this flying geese, as you see here, and you'll need 4 of these. So you have the opposites. So you see right here. And then once you've got all 4, then what you'll do is put these together, try and get intersections as best you can by pinning. So 1/4 inch seam, and you'll have your block, and you should have 4 of these blocks and 4 of these blocks. And once you have all that, I'll show you how to lay out the top, middle, and bottom row. All right, so I have my 4 patches and 4 flying geese, and now we're gonna lay out the top row, the middle row, and the bottom row. This, of course, is the center of the block, and it looks like 2 of these go here and here, and then one here, like that, this, and like this. So right sides together, I'm gonna do that. Right sides together, gonna pin these, and once I'm done sewing a 1/4 inch seam down here, I'm then gonna finger press it open, and I'm gonna right sides together, and then I'll iron it all out in rows, and I'll be back. So I have my rows all sewn together, my top, bottom, and middle, and I'm just gonna, put them right sides together. I'm gonna pin at these seams here and at the end, then I'm gonna finger press, and then once that's sewn, 1/4 inch seam, and then I'm gonna do the same, and when I'm done, I'll be back with the finished block. And there you have it, the finished block. And that is block number 12, Faithful Block, designed by Camille Ruskelly. And you can find these patterns for the Sewcialite Quilt Along on the fatquartershop.com. I have put the link in the description below, and I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. It was so much fun. And your finished block should roughly be around 6.5 inches square. Please join me next week as we do block number 13, the Joy block, designed by Susan Ake, Sewcialite Quilt Along. And for the 6-inch block, it looks like I'll need to cut 12 1.5 by 2.5 inch rectangles for the background. And for the printed, I'll need 1 2.5 inch square, 4 1.5 by 2.5 inch rectangles, and 16 1.5 inch squares. So please join me next week in these awesome, beautiful blocks. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for being here, and I hope you have a wonderful quilt day. See you in the next video. Bye.